So let me ask something. Let me ask sort of another taxing and spending question. A couple years ago, there was a commission put together by the president who didn't act on any of it, that wanted to change tax rates, cut some, I think it was some deductions with changes in the future Medicare, Social Security, Medicaid kind of. Is that a direction that you think we need to go? Do we need to?
So you're talking.
We've got to reform both sides.
So you're talking about Simpson Bowles.
Right. I couldn't think of the name. Yeah.
No, and it's something that I'm studying. Okay, it's something that can provide the framework for what needs to be done. Okay, so the name of their report, interestingly, is called The Moment of Truth. I do not doubt that we can rise to this challenge. Okay, the American people can rise to this challenge. Who needs to get out of the way are the career politicians who simply cannot work together. Okay, who simply cannot work together. They offer us sound bites instead of solutions. And nobody seems to want to say what the real truth is. Okay, that no one wants to get out there and just to be upfront with the American people. We are free-born, mature citizens, and we can handle the truth. Okay, and so, for example, you and I are both Vikings fans. We both wanted our stadium. We both wanted the Vikings to stay here. Okay, I'm not sure that everyone wanted the stadium. I thought there was nothing wrong with the Metrodome, but we're getting a new stadium. How is it that the state of Minnesota and the city of Minneapolis can spend $650 million, find $650 million for a football stadium, but then they got to go run to Washington, D.C. for education dollars? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't, and this is the kind of stuff that we're talking about here, okay? And our congressman is sitting around, and he was not vocal on any particular issue with regard to the stadium, but he sees that as okay. He sees that as okay. The answer is always Washington, D.C. And what I'm saying is for the people in the state of Minnesota, the people in Kentucky, sometimes we have to look at our governors and our state legislatures and say, hey guys, you need to man up, because we can't continue to send all of our dollars to Washington, D.C. only to get some of it to come back here.
Yeah. I call it the merry-go-round of money. That's what I call it.
Absolutely.
Do you think some of these local governments think it's free money? That's why they put it in there?
No, you know what, I think on the part of a lot of governors, and I see this with our own governor, everyone wants to push the buck and say, well, it's not my job to care for the poor. It's not my job to care for seniors. Washington has to help us out. And what I'm saying is, hey, if you're the state governor, okay, you need to be prepared to assume more responsibility, because this model that we have, again, where we send our money to Washington and only to beg for some of it to come back, that model is broken, okay? Social Security has been around since 1935. Medicare has been around since 1960, okay? Those are old models, okay? And with 10,000 seniors retiring every single day from this point forward, the system is going to break. We already have the warning signs. The Congressional Budget Office said by 2025, we will not have, the only money we will have by 2025 is enough money for Social Security, reduced benefits, Medicare, reduced benefits, Medicaid, reduced benefits, and interest on the debt. That's it. There's no common defense.
No Navy?
There's no common defense. There's no discretionary spending. There's no funding for infrastructure or to replace the FAA's aging technology. There's no Amtrak money. There's no money for wind and solar investments and stuff. So we have to get serious about this budget crisis that we're in.
Wow. Just by 2025. You mentioned one of the things I was reading up on is that the baby boomers that are retiring now, it's going to be 2030 before they're all retired.
That's right.
So we've got 20 more years of them still retired.
Yeah, there's about 30 to 40 million of them. And so you add that with the fact that we're not educating our children properly here in Minnesota, especially minority children, because that growing population, okay, will consume more and more of our national population. well, we have a recipe for disaster. And so this is a time where we cannot be afraid of each other. This is a time where we have to start coming together and we have to start working together. And believe me, I know one political party didn't get us into this mess. One president didn't get us into this mess. But it's going to take all of us to get out of this together.
You know, you mentioned something about Democrats and Republicans working together, going across the aisle. You do see a lot the party line vote, the people who want to move up in the party, all vote lockstep. How do you balance that? I mean, you're a congressman. How do you balance party, what your party wants to do and what their platforms are, and the people who vote you in with the bigger picture? I mean, where's that fine line, do you think?
Well, I don't think it's such a fine line, because I'm not asking for people to vote for me because I'm going to go do what the Republicans tell me to do. I'm asking for people to vote for me because I believe in a certain prescription for our congressional district and for our country. Okay, and that prescription is that we bring government back to the lowest possible level. Okay, because I believe that that's fiscally more sound than the situation that we have now. And the proof is in the pudding. Look where we are. We have a $1 trillion deficit every year for as long as the eye can see. And so we have to do something different. And what has worked for us traditionally in the past is when we bring government back down to the lowest possible level. And we start looking at the federal government and saying, hey, do we need to be in all of these businesses? Can we if Minnesota can fund a football stadium, why can't they fund education and why can't they fund other things that the poor need? I'm deeply concerned about the poor in this election. A lot of folks are talking about the middle class. Not many folks are talking about the poor. Okay, and the poor, okay, are the people that actually need the help the most. They're the most vulnerable. But I can tell you how to help the middle class. How you help the middle class is make sure that their businesses that they're working for are able to expand and able to grow. And so that if you're a small business owner, let's not put so many regulations on the guy. Let's take a look at what those regulations are doing to his business and balance that with the public safety. I think right now the pendulum has swung toward, oh my God, we can't let this guy do this because it's all going to, the water's going to be dirty and the air is going to be, no. I mean, we're over-regulating these guys. And so I think we can be a lot smarter in making sure that the public is safe and that businesses can expand. You look at Dodd-Frank, Dodd-Frank is crushing our small businesses' ability to get capital and invest in their businesses because banks are now afraid to make loans.